different this week. We are in the boatyard, as we often are, but not the boatyard where we keep the Volvo 60s. We are now in what would be considered, I think, a normal boatyard with what I would call small boats, to see something a little bit different. We took an opportunity last year, the end of last year, to buy a smaller boat, a 30-foot boat, a Westerly Konsort. And the reason we've done that is it's cool having these bigger boats, the Volvo 60s, the open 60s, but obviously you can't use them for family things. And I knew that this had got to a tipping point when I went on board a friend's boat, a 45-foot boat, a 1980s CNC, and my daughter was amazed by the fact that there was wood and cushions. So I knew that perhaps her being around Volvo 60s and the like was not moving her sailing in the right direction. So I took the opportunity. The engine on the boat that we bought has got a problem, so the boat was cheap. But I'm excited about it, and I'm very excited about it. It's a Westerly, which in this part of the world, in North America, Westerlys are not common at all. I think it's the only one I've heard of around here, and I was amazed when I found out that it was one of these boats. The price was something that was alluring, but the thing which really drew me in was the fact that my father owned a Westerly. It's the kind of boat that I grew up on. I sailed on my father's Westerly Nomad, which was 24 feet. This is a Westerly Konsort, so a little bit different, but similar style. We'll have a look now and see what it's all about. Literally, I have not been anywhere near this boat since I think August of last year. It was sunny. I still remember coming down here to the marina, and it was very, very nice. And the previous owner showed us around and gave us all the details. And I looked at Kathy. Yep, this seems like a great idea. Let's go for it. I literally haven't been anywhere near it since. We've had some very strong winds here recently. Snow, the whole lot. This is the first day we can really get down here. So let's jump on board. Let's have a look. And I think we're going to be taking a trip, if I remember correctly, a trip back to the early 80s, if not late 70s. This boat's not been upgraded or anything, so it's totally different for me. Let's see what we can make of it. Okay, so here we go. Let's have a see what this is all about. Now, the Westerly Konsort came in two models, a bilge keeler, if I can say it, with the two little keels that stick down underneath that allows it to dry out. This was the thin keel version, which was like the racing version. You see, it's been special bubble coating here, makes it go faster. Special abrading anti-valve allows it to come off in pieces, but obviously exterior iron keel. They always start bubbling up like that. There's no problem there. It is what it is. It's designed for families. It's designed for cruising. Heavily built. These Westerlys were one of the only boat that was actually Lloyd's registered. The weight of the construction, the quality of the construction was such that Lloyd's would certify them. I think. Well, that doesn't look very fast, does it? Oh, look, and it's got a little. Wow, that's old school. So yeah, it's obviously the last time I saw it, it was in the water. Now, oh wow, look at the anchor. I didn't remember that. Look, it's got a nice stainless steel Bruce anchor, and if I remember correctly, it has got a windlass. So. Nice cockpit. Nice wide open decks here. I think that's the thing that I was impressed about with this, is that there's a lot of area. It's got an exterior transom. It's got a transom hung rudder, and then with a tiller you can kick up. It makes a lot of space here in this cockpit. I thought maybe there was a place to put a table here, but I guess we can do that. Speaker in the cockpit there. Power takeoff. I think that's a gas lock, if I remember correctly. Okay, so cockpit area, yeah, pretty decent size. I think you could probably sit 6 adults in here pretty easily once there's a table in it. This is cool, it's a main sheet. Oh, I guess you just pull it, right? Yeah, right. Oh yeah, I'm looking for the main sheet winch. Okay, but then it's got, yeah, it got self-tailing winches. These are additions, but then it's got these blanks. So I guess these are the backstay winches, and these are the. I think someone's moved those down for some reason. All right, a bit seized. Well, let's go inside because I'm freezing. Let's have a see what's going on. I opened it up earlier just to make sure that it could be opened up. The key was actually the right key. Okay, well, let's have a see. We often say about the Open 60 that it looks like it escaped from the future. I'd say this one escaped from the 70s. When you kind of step down onto the engine enclosure. All right, so we got like a bunk kind of area down the back there, I guess you could, and then got a nav area. Look at that radar, wow. That, I guess, is literally from whenever this boat was built. Oh, and we got things for an autopilot here. That's cool, I didn't know we had that. And then little galley area. I remember there's pressure water on this boat. Is that what's that? Oh, for a fridge? Oh, cool. Has it actually got a fridge? I thought it just had an icebox. Little stove. This is better than we've got on Challenger. In fact, that's a lot better than we've got on Challenger. In fact, maybe I can nick it off here and put it on Challenger. And wow, look at this size. Like huge speakers. And a TV. Oh, has it got DVD? It does. Look at a DVD player. This is great. Wow, okay. So this is interesting. This is a whole other side of sailing that I just haven't been a part of in so long. Like, see, my dad had a boat like this. He had a Westerly Nomad. Same drooping headlinings, actually, looking at it. But for him and I, like, I would have been 10 through to 14, 15 when he had that. And the smell actually, I've got a bit of a blocked nose, but I can smell is that kind of like oil, 70s upholstery, plastic kind of thing. A little bit of mold, no doubt, added in. It's got that air of there may be trouble ahead. Dad's boat was called Merely, and the thing for us was that I think his style of boating was that he liked the fixing it, he liked the repairing it, and he liked messing about with all of the systems on board the boat. He wasn't, by his own admission, he was no kind of great sailor. We had it on Lake Windermere in the UK, which was very nice, about 10 miles long freshwater lake, and there was always something that needed doing. There was always some part of it in the garage that was being varnished or polished or painted or something. And then what happened to it? We got a phone call just after Christmas one year, and it had broken free of its mooring and crashed into a concrete boathouse that was owned by the lake wardens, and had sunk in about 4 feet of water. No, not like 6 feet of water. So the water it had come onto the bottom right by the shore, and then the water had flooded like all of the foredeck, most of the hatch. So coming inside the boat, it was kind of, the water was waist deep inside the boat. We drove from Devon, where we were living at the time, and drove up through the night and arrived in Windermere. It's about 350, 400 mile drive, and arrived, and this boat obviously in a little bit of a sorry state. It had a big hole in the front where it had cracked into the boathouse or rubbed against the boathouse or whatever it was. But I could see in Dad, and I understand now exactly where it was coming from. There's this kind of odd thing that, like, when trouble hits, you're like, oh my God, like, how could this happen to me? And yet there's the other boyish side, which is, oh, cool, like, we get to play with tools and we get to fix things. And as I've said before, it was one of the most adept mechanics and most intuitive mechanics I've ever worked around or with. and a fantastic problem solver. So he, at that point, would be a 55-year-old man with a 13-year-old boy with him, and the 4,000, 5,000 pound, 25-foot boat, half underwater, and his style is, let's fix it. And I guess that's where I get my self-reliant streak from. We put a blanket patch on the outside of the boat, which he created by using, I think, like some tarp from somewhere or something, and obviously the blanket patch runs around the outside, and then as you start bailing very quickly on the inside, the water pressure on the outside pushes the tarp up against the hole, the blanket up against the hole, and seals it somewhat. So very quickly we were able to bail and bail and bail the boat, and get the boat to lift off the bottom, and actually the area where it had been rubbing the boathouse was above the waterline. So as soon as it lifted back off, the hole went above the waterline, and then the engine obviously had been underwater, and I remember him messing about with the engine until he got it going. If I remember correctly, it was a one-cylinder Volvo, so basically if the exhaust valve was closed at the second when it stopped, which it should be because it'd be under compression, no water would have got in. So he got that going. If I remember correctly, he hurt his thumb, and it was like a week later that one of his customers at the garage, who was a doctor, pointed out to him the fact that his thumb was dislocated, and put it back in for him. But so we got all that done. We then brought the boat around to the slipway and got it pulled up and put it on the trailer, and then we drove like 100 miles with this thing on the back of the car, nodding away and obviously unbalanced. And I remember quite clearly Dad announcing that the boat was too far forward on the trailer. So his method, having been a truck driver, was to adjust the lines on the back of the boat that was securing it to the trailer, loose all the other lines, and then reverse very quickly across the parking lot of a motorway services and slam on the brakes, causing the boat to judder back down the trailer. It's a 3 or 4 tonner boat, and come up against the new tensioned lines on the back, and hey presto, the thing was the thing was reorganized. So Dad always kind of went through life like he was on horseback, which worked well for him sometimes, not on others. But being back on board this boat, yeah, it does bring back memories of a lot of fun times, a lot of close time spent with Dad, and I think that's something I'd really like to share with Bella and with Kathy, and also this kind of space. You know, I'm sitting here chatting to you now, but you get what, a couple of people over there and a couple more people down there, and you could take friends out on this, couldn't you, and go and have a laugh and go sailing, go and actually relax sailing instead of be stressing about the race or the delivery or the whatever whatever else it is that I've got to get to. I think in the last 10 years I can't remember one time, maybe 1 or 2 in Hong Kong, where it was just sailing for fun, sailing for pleasure. So hopefully this will be the beginning of that. So let's have a quick look around, see what we've got. Got boxes of stuff here. Looks like bilge pump handles and winch handles, little lights. Okay, it's electrics. Now it's got a solar panel. I remember this one. So let's get the batteries here. It's pretty standard. How does this work? All right. Okay. Good. Lights. Yeah. Okay. So look, like we've got some battery power. Sit down in the. Oh God! It's. There's wooden cushions. Let's just focus on that. It's like built for Oompa Loompas. Okay, so spreaders, radar. Hello, radar. Oh, it's making noises. I would say that it either needs more voltage. It's only got 11 volts, so I'd imagine it's probably not got enough. Okay, no worries, we'll leave that. So we've got lights. Computer. Where's the computer? There's no computer on this, is it? There wasn't no such thing as computers in 1980, whatever. Okay, maybe that's a plug-in for somebody else's computer. All right, VHF. Look at this. Wow, this is... we've got channel 16 volume. No, squelch. Okay, it's not going very well here. Instruments. Oh, something went bleep. Okay, I recognise that bleep. When I did the both around the world things I've done is with Raymarine gear on board, which I really like Raymarine gear. It might not have all of the tweaks and perks of the B&G stuff we often use, but man alive, is it reliable. And that beep is very well known sound to me. So they're on. Stereo. Oh, here we go, stereo. Got a CD player. Yes, we have a CD player. Well, we have a radio mode. Source on. Do something. No. Oh, it says. I think we've got a combo here of the fact that it's very cold in here. None of this stuff's probably been started up forever. I don't know what's going on, but it lights up, so that's good. We probably don't even want it on anyway, right? We'll be able to hear each other. Stereo, fridge. Yeah, okay, I can hear something humming. Wow, this has got an actual 12-volt fridge on here. I crossed the Atlantic this year the end of last year, and I think it was something like my 18th or 19th crossing the Atlantic. I have never yet crossed the Atlantic with a fridge on a boat. And it was looking like it was really going to go perfectly well this time, and then whatever it was, it just wouldn't cool stuff. So I'm going to have to sail across the Atlantic on this boat. That's the only answer for it. Okay, water pump. Oh. I don't know if the water system on this boat was drained, so we'll just leave that. It could have all frozen. Stereo. We'll turn everything back off, else we're going to kill the batteries. Nav lights, yeah, good. Panel. Steaming light, I guess that is. Okay, heater. Yeah, that's a bit hopeful. And then, oh, lights. Look at this. We've got, wow, so this thing is like, yeah, look, we've got lights over here. And then F cabin must be forward cabin. So we've got a boat here, guys. We got, good lord, we can't. Okay, right, so now what else do we know about this boat? Oh yeah, so now it wouldn't be just as simple as that. It's a boat, we can go sailing with it. The issue with this boat was that it cracked, I believe it cracked a valve spring. Condensation builds up in the rocker cover. It starts to prematurely rust the valve springs. Not uncommon on marine engines, and I think the valve spring let loose. It dropped the valve down onto the piston, and then the two came in contact at rapid speed and created this situation. So let's have a quick look at this. Now the good thing with this engine is that it's a Buk engine, B-U-K-H. We can see here obviously what's happened. This is the injector port here. It's completely trashed on this side. Looks like part of the valve may have just eaten that up. And then two broken valves there. I imagine, we'll have a look a little bit later on, I imagine the top of the piston's going to either have a hole punched in it or it's going to have a bloody great big dent in it. But the good thing is these engines, Buk makes engines, they're a Danish company, and they make engines specifically for like maritime safety boats, that kind of stuff, rescue boats on the side of cruise ships and merchant ships. So their engines are incredibly resilient and tough, and you can get all the parts quite easily online. The good thing with this boat as well, if I remember correctly, is it should have a 20 horsepower raw water fed or raw water cooled diesel engine. But previous owner has installed the 24 horsepower, that's 25% more powerful, 24 horsepower fresh water cooled engine, and that means you've got a heat exchanger off it, which means you can have hot water on the boat. So it is an upgraded engine. It's a better engine for this boat. I believe that I haven't been on the boat, but obviously I've been online looking at stuff and learning about stuff, right? It's the first rule. You've got to get the knowledge first. But they did put little Volvo engines in these boats as well, which I think were quite underpowered. The boat weighs 7,000 pounds, like, what's that, 3,500 kilos. So it's a little bit of weight for a smaller engine, but no, that's pretty good. So that's, you're almost getting up to 1 horsepower per foot on the waterline, which is a good sort of ratio. So we've got tonnage number 9.78, the registered tonnage, the gross tonnage, the a volumetric measurement of the accommodation areas, excluding the machinery spaces. Challenge is like 30 odd, I guess. But you know what? In terms of livability, this is actually a better sized boat than being on Challenger. Like Challenger, unfortunately, because of the nature of what she is, and all these Volvo 60s and that, they're so Spartan, pardon the pardon the play on words, but there's no ability just to flop down and have a glass of wine or anything, right? Which we would never do at sea. But I'd like the choice. All right, so engine there. So what we got here? All right, this is kind of falling down. Oh right. Oh wow. So one of my most favourite books in terms of sailing, I gave my dad Cruising Under Sail by Eric Hiscock for a birthday. God knows how long ago. And then immediately when I went out to Hong Kong, when I sort of got into sailing, I took that book with me and I just read it and read it and read it and annotated it, and it now has its own special kind of Cordura binder and stuff, which I keep as like hallowed ground, that book. And look, they've got a little cuddy here, so when you're lying on this bunk, you can put your feet into there, so this 5-foot bunk becomes good for 6-foot people. Oh, and here we go. So they've got this. Now these I knew were here. These are books which the previous owner, I think he told me the original owner put these together. So that's the boat in full. Well, that won't be this boat. That's obviously a similar boat. All right, okay. Oh wow, look at this. This is cool. This is cool. So this boat is from 1980. So none of this was part of the original manufacturer's thing, but this is exactly what we do on super yachts and race boats. This is a CD with information, PD. Yeah, so whoever's had this boat in the past has really been somebody that's into details. It says 05 on that. So we've got information here from a survey that was done in 2011. Information here on the boat itself: 7,900 pounds displacement, 3,500 kilos. So Lloyd's Hull construction certificate. Wow, so it's a pretty heavy boat actually. That's 7,000 pounds on a 30-foot waterline. That's pretty stiff, I should imagine. The reading I did about this, it said that actually if you were to race them, they've got a pretty good rating. That so we could get stuff off the Volvo 60s and start retrofitting it here. That main sheet is 12 mil, so we could actually start getting stuff off the 60s and bringing it here. I wonder how much you'd have to cut down a Code 5 off a Volvo 60 to get it on a Westerly Konsort. Probably it'd just be like the glue of the sail. But man, that'd be awesome. You think like a cheap mainsail for one of our boats is $30,000. Like a mainsail for this can't be more than what, 3,000 or 4,000? Like, so that means actually you could get something really nice on this. We could cut out all the furniture and put honeycomb, Nomex, Carbo furniture in it. We can make like a racing machine. Okay, no, right, we're gonna have, yes, it's just gonna be for cruising. Cruising. Okay, yes, we won't go racing. All right, so what's this now? This is about the TV. Yeah, UFO 3, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Oh no, TV antenna. The engine stuff, okay, that's going to be useful, we need that. So this is great. Oh, that's for the fridge, wow. All the electronics information, oh, this is brilliant. This is like a dream come true. I've actually got proper good information about the boat. There's also a fantastic Westerly Owners Club, I know that much from online. So let's have a look up the front here, what we got. So this is the forward cabin. Got a bit of a kind of retro thing going on here with the 70s upholstery and then the weird blue interior. So I think what's going on here is that these boats, I know this kind of 70s style cruiser, they had headlining like this, which is it's vinyl or PVC or something, and then a thin layer of foam glued onto a little bit of plywood, and that's screwed up into the hull, into the coach house here. And what happens, of course, is that the glue over time has degraded the foam, and the whole lot just starts drooping and discoloring. It's a right mess. But looking at this inside, it's a real nasty layup from a modern style. This would have been, I guess, would this be like a female mold, and then that would give you a nice exterior, then it's flipped out and attached to the hull or something. But this side is just pretty much where it was laid up. Now, looking inside other boats like J boats and stuff like that, surely what we can do is just sand this and then use a high build filler with micro balloons and get a nice smooth interior finish, and then just spray it, and then you know, you can wipe it down. It's pretty warm, this. I guess the sun is warming it from outside, but I'm wondering if it is actually a cord coach house roof, in which case insulation, no, this is not providing any insulation. It's just for aesthetics. So maybe just get rid of the whole damn thing and spend our time getting a nice finish on this rather than messing around with that. Okay, what do we got? We've got a little cupboard area over here, a little hanging area. We've got some... Oh, look! It's got the name of the boat on it. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. This really has been looked after in its time. Okay, and then in here's the heads. Yeah. Okay, well, kind of as we expected. In fairness, it's quite a narrow space, which is good. I'm never a big fan of heads which go across the boat like this because, well... Okay, on racing boats, I'm not a fan of this because if you do hit a wave hard, you come off something and slam into the next wave at 15 knots, which is probably not going to happen here. You end up being thrown sideways. I like it where your back's against something that's, you know, your back's up against the direction of travel. So if you come to a sudden stop, you're braced. But I guess that isn't the issue here. I've got to learn this stuff. Looking pretty sad with the headlining in here. And then if I remember correctly, there's tap there. Yeah, wow, look at that. So you got a little whole sink arrangement and things. Some storage back here. You know, everything's so simple on here that it's not going to be super difficult to work on it. I guess the point here for me is that always that when you say, oh, this is a simple job and that's a simple job, well, the end of it is that it's all bloody complicated because there's just so many simple things to do. Brilliant. Okay, so that's good. Oh, and then I know there's another thing on these ones, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so this bit here on this pulls out or something, doesn't it? Hang on, how do we get this up? Let's pull this out of the way. Yeah, look, it's got... Oh, yeah, right, okay, it's coming. So you can pull this out and put this cushion in here. Wow. Yeah, look, and then that one, I guess, pulls down. So you got another double bunk here. So I'm imagining two couples and a couple of kids. This is a fantastic, fantastic boat. Oh, is there anything in the lockers? That's always my favourite bit with these things. Other people's junk is always so much more interesting than your own junk. Let's see if we've got any goodies on here. No. Nothing. Although it's nice and clean in there and it's all painted up. That's good. No water or mildew. Spare parts, there's the box. Spare parts, spare parts. What have we got? Alright, spare parts for the engine, looks like. Fan belts. That's like a stick of licorice, that one. Yeah, so bits and bobs for the boat, engine. Pumps, okay, yeah, so super basics. It's funny, I get used to all the stuff we have on board the Volvo 60s. Obviously we got heaps of stuff, but when we are driving those boats, we're taking them overseas, we're taking them a very long way away from home for any kind of support, so you have to have everything with you that you could possibly need, and that ends up with a hell of a lot of crap most of the time, or expensive spares as we like to put in the accounts. Let's have a see what's in this one. Anything here? Nope, couple of bags or something. Things around, some ropes and lines. Okay, I think we get the idea. There's some good stuff on here. Better put that down flat, so I'll forget while I'm chatting to you. I'll smash the board, which would be sad. What's in this box? Engine parts. So that's the problem on this one. It's this engine issue. So we've got to get that squared away. And then where's the engine? It's in here. Oh, there we go. Look. Oh. Okay. So this is what happens. Now this hole here is obviously a recess for the either combustion or for the one of the valves. But look at this. Wow, it's really punched into the cylinder, and then the bit of the valve which is broken off has just danced around inside the cylinder. All right. Okay. But again, you know, it's a Buick engine, and that is a heavily damaged piston head, but piston head can be replaced. we'd have to see what the walls of the cylinder are like. But if the piston has risen up, it's likely that the walls of the cylinder are not that bad, you know, otherwise it'd be jammed down. All right, so all in all, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's got a lot of potential. We were only on board about half an hour when we came last time. I think this is about as much as I've seen of the actual boat. A lot of cleaning up, some modernization, but not making it too complicated. The point here is it's meant to be for family, it's meant to be fun, and we deliberately bought something that's older so we can smash it and crash it and bash it around and hit the dock and not freak out, you know. I don't think I'd be a very good owner of some $150,000 boat because you know, the thing is with our boats is that they're tools, their equipment. It's like a fisherman having a yacht. It's like you just have a different style towards these things, and I don't think that the idea of I shouldn't write it off. Maybe I'll like to have a nice boat in the future, but for now I think this is what we want, just simple and fun and accessible. So let's go on deck and have a look what's up there, and yeah, I think it's got potential. It's gonna be a fun project. All right, so Bimini here looks a little bit tired. I found out that you can get a Bimini an entire cockpit closure, and with the temperatures here in Nova Scotia being cooler on the shoulder seasons, if we're going to actually use this thing, I think an entire cockpit enclosure would be good. But let's go down the side decks. Oh, it's got the big long tracks for those overlapping headsills. It's kind of probably better just get rid of that and have non-overlapping headsills. Little solar cell, that's cool. Nice. It's actually got a decent width of side deck. For a 30-foot boat, it's actually not that bad. It's a rig that looks like it's made of shoelaces, but I guess that's the style. At least you can walk past it, you know. And the chimney there, you can put a little Dickinson diesel stove in these. And then look, yeah, I thought so. It's got a proper windlass. So that's cool. It's a tiny little anchor, but and roller furling headsills, and you know what? This is pretty cool. Look at the size of these cleats. You can pull a battleship with that. You haven't even got those on the Volvos. Yeah, not bad. Eh? Let's leave it there for today. I'd love to hear your comments and see what you think about this. You got any experience of any kind of boats like this? I'd love to hear it. I've got enough miles sailed, but nothing like this. So let's do it together. Let's see what this ends up being. Okay, well, that's all from me this week, and we'll drop back in next week. We'll be having a look at what's going on with Challenger in Antigua. And remember, there's a podcast now. And if you haven't already clicked on it, have a look at the link below for our Sail for Cancer campaign, which is going on now. We're already at nearly $3,000 in the first 3 days, and that's making 500 days of sailing accessible for people who are suffering from or survived or caring long term for people with cancer. That's what took my dad, unfortunately, brain cancer 6 years ago, and brought to a halt the adventures that we had on boats like this. So we're trying now to get people out on the water, to give them something to look forward to and something to enjoy. There's not another bloody trip to the doctors, because that's what life with cancer ends up being, right? There's the physical issues, and then there's this whole life-changing process of trying to survive the damn thing. So cancer sucks, let's go sailing is the message at the moment. But for now, that's all from Not Under Command, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.